Hello there. Welcome back.
Hey.
How are we all today? We're back with another week of our world building streams.
Another
where me and Raph consistently and constantly try and fail to get stuff done and write stuff down, which never happens.
Absolutely.
But
another glorious week of getting interrupted.
This is the little last stream before the break, so let's good energy. Let's get lots done because quick announcement at the start: whether you're catching this live or in the VOD, there will be no streams the week of the 31st of October because that is my wedding anniversary. 3 years married, so I will not even be in my house for the week, so I cannot stream. It is very, very difficult to stream when I'm not on my computer. But Raph, this week we're talking something a little bit more topical than
and
maybe
shifting away. Yeah, and shifting away from talks of, realms of existence and old gods and beings that can create and destroy life at will. A bit more of a small scale than that. We're talking about a little bit smaller scale. Yeah. We're talking about the nation of Zarsan in our Quel'Thos setting, which quite topical, as you said. Yeah.
You're within the capital, Ojikir. There's a fair bit we can go over. We'll probably go over the general vibe of like the capital and what led to Zarsan being a country, and then we can talk about like the individual settlements as we go through, and I'll share the map as we go for that on our world anvil. But it's that's where we start. There's a lot of different places we could begin at, but Zarsan is one of the oldest countries.
Yeah.
So Zarsan is commonly nicknamed the Atheist State, because it is predominantly Leonin and Loxodon within our setting, and the reason in our setting why they worship less of the gods compared to something like a Theros or whatever, Hephaestus, is that they didn't need, not that they didn't need, but they managed to fight back against the Jotuns, not like perfectly, but they sustained guerrilla skirmishes and they didn't lose as much ground as the western side of, Burton, Castelia, and such. They're also a little bit further away from like the Jotun capitals, so they had a little bit of an easier time in it, but it led to them not relying on the Ascended. They don't care to believe in the Ascended. They would almost have the same vision as the Starless, that these are kind of just heroes, who did great work. And like they have, even the Leona do have Phanodon, who is a god, so to speak, god or saint. But they just don't particularly care for it. They don't think it was necessary. They think it was just great power, and that's why we see such a strong bond form between the great libraries of Ojikir and the Starless Elves. They have a similar mindset overall. While they, the Starless do have that specific worship for the dying god, but like that kind of, not disdain, but like the eyes upon the ascended gods as well. These are just heroes. It's very similar for the Leon. They're not, they're not as rigorous, and the main distinguisher is no member of the church can actually hold a seat in the Senate. Fijik says there's always exceptions to every rule. Oh, of course, there is a Leonin god, so there would be some that would pay homage to them, and there is shrines within Ojikir for him, but within the city, it would be the exception, not the norm. Phanodon is correct. Phanodon's a minor god, I believe.
Yeah, I think it is a minor. He's not a major god. He's not a... Yeah, so yeah, minor.
I can double check. God of the Hunt and Leona, yeah.
Yeah. I think is there another god that I'm trying to think of from around there, or not?
I think the one you're probably trying to come to with your brain is... it was Carl's angel. The angel that the god that Carl's... Oh, what was that?
Yes. Is it Stellarin?
Stellarin, yes.
Yes.
I don't believe I have actually commented or too much on where Stellarin was from.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
But,
well, actually, Stellarin's the satyr. Yeah, that's right, he's a satyr.
Yeah, satyr, and satyrs are wanderers. But that being said, there is some...
I was going to say, something I'm quite curious about is that in regards to the western half of the continent, we know a lot about the struggle against the Jotuns and the raising of Castelia and all of the fighting there and the sack of Kazkarak and everything. But in regards to the eastern half and around Ojikir and all that, without the ascended gods, like, was it was it very different in terms of their struggle against the Jotuns in that sense, or was it much more, because they also didn't have the same connection to the Woad as the resistance over there did?
No, they did not. Second, is your microphone? How I'm getting like almost that like your microphone's blowing out a little bit there.
Okay.
Do you have the little dial on your microphone for volume? You have the same one.
Yeah, let me just try. Is that a bit better?
Yeah, that's a little bit better. That's a lot better. Yeah, it was completely blowing out.
Oh, okay, cool. That's a bit.
But no, there was a lot of difference over there. I think the main difference is, like, they, in a sense, never got a chance to actually set up, like, great cities like Castelia. Like, they never really evolved past the, how would you put it, the guerrilla warfare. That was their constant struggle. But that being said, is they were putting up with less Jotuns in general. Like, they did not as often have to fight Jotuns. They fought a lot of the clans that the Jotuns controlled, like the fire giants and the storm giants and such, but did not actually partake in direct combat against the Jotuns as much. There's specifically where, sorry, I can feel a sneeze coming on, but it's just not happening. Famed Kin is one of the locations within Zarsan, which was just nestled within the Lusuk Mountains. And
also thank you for
giving a sub to Shaz. That's very gamer of you.
Change my camera.
Thank you so much. But for example, Famed Kin, which I'll show in a little bit where it is, but that was originally, I believe, I want to say oh, hey Dario, what's up?
Hey Dario,
how are you doing today?
What's up, nerd?
We're talking Zarsan, the country that you guys are currently in, and we will eventually probably get to artificers because this is where they are originating from in Quintus.
Yeah, you'll get some juicy artificer backstory.
We will. But so Famed Kin is actually named after what Phanodon is like, his family name, sort of like his more pre-ascended names were kind of related to. It's where Phanodon is originally from. Well, kind of that around area, and became very much so known for. And it was, I want to say, I don't have to double check my notes, it was a giant hold originally. Like, that was the sort of infrastructure that was built around it, but it wasn't like buried within the mountains. It was kind of artificers originated out of my whole ass, actually, but I am listening. That's interesting. You're shitting paper. Okay. Yeah. But
curious backstory
idea. Unfortunately, no, we do know the first artificers in Realm, but nice try. So as I was saying, it is a meta condition, Daria. It is. I will laugh at you though. I will. I will laugh at you based on your medical condition, and I'll laugh at you based on the fact that I'm married to Shaz and you're not. Called out.
Damn.
Damn. But it was, I want to say, I'm leaning towards, my brain is saying, like, more storm giant-y hold towards those mountains, or like stone giant, and it's not so much like deep within the mountains, but it's kind of bordering a mountain area. Sharon is in chat, also roasting Daria. Just waving.
Tempting.
That failed temptress.
Taunting Daria.
Taunting Daria.
So with Famed Kin, which is actually something that I imagine, just to go back in regards to like storm giants and other giants, I imagine that's what primarily they would have faced over in the Ojikir side of the conflict. Because as we know, like a lot of the Jotuns are towards the Shatters, which is on the western side, and coming down from that.
We got a good question there from Bajik. $2 to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but clerics and paladins in your world do not require deities. Shaz is welcome for the record. Sorry if I fall asleep during the stream. You're more than welcome to fall asleep to our nice voices. Currently, they do. Future-wise, they don't. In Quintus, they currently do. The sort of magical advancements of like pure concept based is not so much a thing yet. But even when we looked at Varn, there was a saint or a god behind Varn that they weren't aware of in their drunken stupor. That's why it was constantly of like,
just shout out to Varn.
Divine intervention, what god will answer? But on the Drapidin side, where magic has evolved more, with the Dragon King, where, fun fact, in their Drapidin side, there was always the thing where the like philosophies were magic, like that could be worked upon in Drapidin side, but there's still the thought that every divine practitioner who gets divine magic draws power from the Dragon King over there. Like that's still the common concerned belief, because if all magic comes from the great old ones, they're even divine, or everyone is technically drawing magic from gods. So everyone requires deities.
But the way I kind of saw it in the Dragon side as well is that magic has advanced to the level where people can draw upon more, I guess, the divine styles of magic through the knowledge that exists. Like, people know of ways to utilize those forms of magic without the same close connection to a god. Whereas, as we've seen, magic and arcanists in Quenthos are much harder to come by. It's much less developed outside of a few specific areas. So it's still very much primitive in that sense, and base in that form.
Which actually is something that we see direct correlation between the amount of old gods in Quenthos versus, like, because if we talk roughly right now, we're almost at the start of the Draconic era for not a lot of clerics in Zarsan. No, almost none in Zarsan.
Druids, I imagine.
You have a lot of druids in Zarsan. A lot of people who study the old ways of magic and an appreciation for that. What else? What was I just about to say? I completely lost.
Which is interesting, because that's something as well which I imagine Zarsan will also kind of at least pioneer in an aspect, or have quite advanced, is more what we would consider to be medicine. Like
yes,
healing
absolutely.
in regards to how we would see it in our world. Like hospitals and places like that.
Even though we saw an artificer within Ojikir that is currently almost on the cusp of creating a revivify-based potion. And he has no magical ability of their own. It's just a science.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so they've pioneered other ways to look into that.
The reason we see... So if we're... no, druids worship like the natural order of things in the Woad in our setting, so they do not require a deity. But the reason we don't see a lot of arcanists, even though equivalent time in Drapidin, the other half of the world is about, I think, currently just before the Draconic era starts, and even then we were seeing some great, like, I'm going to name drop stuff that people have no connection to, but we saw like Ronan Wisecrag and, these high level casters, Egelina, and like these people that are capable of doing such magics, because magic was becoming, more present. But the reason why we didn't see from the very beginning an awful lot of studied wizards and stuff from the start is because originally there was only one god there. There was only the Dying God, and it was a shattered body. So the amount of magic that we saw is actually quite like, if you look back, we saw Yundav, which had a little bit. There was no court wizard within Rindleton. There was not even like it's common joke among us that like Aura invented, but not so much invented, but popularized teleportation circles, and really pioneered that on the western half of the world, because divine magic was all that could come through. And then we started seeing when after the giant subjugation ended, we saw a lot of influx of like clerics and stuff in the western half of the world, where there is these possibilities of people channeling arcane and celestial based magic based off of these. But I think a very, very keen point is I can count and list off many like the Cicer Magum, the many orders within Drapidin of mage orders that were like schools of wizards. We had legions of them. You even look to somewhere like Imperitho on the other side of the world, where is a country that is here purely based on your ability to be an arcanist, whereas we don't have that in
until now
in Drapidin, which still
until now with
Mentara Thea. Gods, and one of them is
there's also Mentara Thea, which is just emerging as this place.
That will be in the future. Like right now, they don't have these schools.
Yes, which I think is also linked in the, just quite interesting talking about magic and everything. I think it's also there's that. I think there's a few reasons for it in my mind, at least in the Corinthian side of the world, is the lack of old gods' direct influence as well. Like the dying god is shattered. The only ones with close contact are the starless, who do have a magical practice that exists. The Farwalker is essentially quite remote. The Eye of Ruin is
the
secluded.
Farwalker is basically my father. He's not present. And you look at the Eye of Ruin, he doesn't want to put magic out there. He doesn't want that destructive power going out
and
there.
I think as well, though, it's also a large part due to the fact that post-war 300-year wars, like with civilizations being built, there hasn't been
almost a doomsday,
a massive push to accumulate magical knowledge into schools and stuff. As we look at it now, the only real magical schools that exist on the surface are College of the Storms, which are churches
Not
at the
really.
same time to Lezephican.
Yeah.
So it's very tightly controlled by the clergy of Lezephican. So you don't really have magic schools that exist. You don't really have people pursuing arcane knowledge really outside of Ojikir or Zarsan and the world below. They're really the two places where you have the pursuit of the arcane and arcane knowledge being sort of a primary facet to their civilization. Which plays a massive role in that.
And now we see even like if we talk, I know we're talking Zarsan, but just a quick note on Castelia and Mantarthiris, we see that pushback though. It's like it's to be feared because the entire world since the 300-year war ended has worked with their faith in the gods.
Yes.
Like in the Ascended gods. So this whole like people that do not require that and push past that without the College of the Storms, without anything, they just dropped a mountain on somebody as well. Yeah. Wizards and arcanists like Jarenvir and such, they can be seen as like all borderline terrorists.
Yeah, exactly. And I imagine a lot of places around there, like at least probably in Castelia, Rindleton, Favendel, and Arvagrad, all around there would be probably a surge in fear of local arcanists, that they would become linked to Mantarthia, which is seen as being a rogue state in that sense.
Because you got
that's.
I love your world, even when Raph talks about your world. But the reason why you love it, even when Raph talks about it, is Raph for the past half year, a little over, I have invited Raph to start working and writing in world based on prompts that I give. So most of this, like most, bar unless I butt in, the stuff that Raph says can be considered canon unless I directly contradict it.
Unless I suddenly said something like artificers are now playable, Dara. That is not canon.
That I see it's a contradiction. It's not, but there is this thing where Raph and I have an extremely similar writing style. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Raph is extremely talented as well. He's a very good writer. Raph, since you made that joke that artificers are canon, I'm gonna have to push them back again. Sorry, Daria.
Sorry, Dara. I like you put the blame on me for that, so then Dara will come at me, not you. Smart.
That's on you.
Smart.
That's on you.
But yeah, I was going to say as well, I think it's something that you probably will see at least is that, I mean, look, probably not a more advanced. This is muted.
I am not.
No.
I can see the volume bar, Daria. I can see the volume bar.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just going to say that I think as well, you won't see it overtaking Drappin necessarily, but when the two worlds meet, you'll find, or maybe by then it'll be different, but at least at this current stage, the use of divine magic in Quenthos is probably very advanced, and it's very sort of important to a lot of, not everywhere, obviously, as we've just talked about Zarsan, but it's become, divine magic is very, very important. More so than arcane magic in a lot of places.
Absolutely, and that's not to say that Zarsan as a whole will discredit or disallow or disbar.
It's not Mantarthia. It's not Mantarthia, which will
they still recognize the use for them as healers. That is a big point. Is that even in Zarsan, clerics can't hold seats in the Senate because they don't want the religious influence over the country's decisions, but they do have a certain presence for helping out and maintaining and monitoring these various medical conditions and helping make sure outbreaks don't take place, because that is a possibility.
Yes. Yeah. But also, Fishik says your whole table is epic. Cade subclasses, Daria, AJ, and Jen's characters are top notch. Absolutely, the whole table is amazing. Also, Daria's art as well. I cannot forget that.
Daria's art is just next level pog. Very, very next
the
level.
whole table is epic. The whole table is epic. You're damn right there.
Canon. But speaking of Zarsan, we do see this sort of like change in attitude towards how they approach things. You know, this kind of like they recognize the power, but they're not going to recognize the influence and how that would take place. It's more of a, you know, recognize, but let's let bygones be bygones, and we'll help you when time comes, and you can help us when times. Also, I noticed my microphone was a little quiet, so I think that should fix it. I think that does on the stream side. I don't know why Sonar is doing very, very quiet, but I will just be quickly fixing this because it is annoying me why this keeps happening.
Well, brief technical issue, as is standard for us.
As is standard. There we are. That should be pretty decent. I think pretty decent. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. My overall microphone sound has been lower lately, and I'm not sure as to why. It's very
Yes.
It's very frustrating. I had an update to what's how to say, the overall approach to my microphone has been just less, and it's obviously frustrating. Like everything is on max, everything is like, so it's just, I don't know why this update's made everything a little bit quieter, and I don't want to just bass boost it and everything, make it completely like deep fried audio. And answer for you. I should get Daria to draw another character for me. She is available for commissions. She is very, very talented. You can always ask her. Reach out to her on Twitter. She's very good. I believe you have her contact info as is.
But yeah, so talking about back to Ojigir and Zarsan, I think talking about the magical aspect of that is actually an interesting way of getting into them. And I think, as well as we've seen, like, the fact that they've had to pioneer alternate forms of magic to sort of get around the lack of divine magic and the difficulties with practicing the arcane. I think that's something very, very interesting to get into with them.
Yeah. So I think one important thing is Ojikir is a city that, like, that little port, it is probably one of the oldest. I'll have to double check, but I think it may predate Castelia. Or no, its founding date is... They were founded around the same time.
The first city founded, unless that's wrong, unless we're taking that back.
So, one second. Let's answer a couple of things come there from chat I was not paying attention to. So, Cade makes subclasses, Raf helps world build, Daria does art, and all 5 players play as if they've been at the same table for like a decade. How did you get so lucky, Des? Look, that's just the way the cards fell for me, but I would say that's also not entirely accurate. Raf and I also make subclasses. I helped Cade work on me and Cade worked as a conjunction for the College of the Brass Lungs. And keep your eyes out. We may have more content soon. That you know, all I'm going to say is don't miss our first stream back from the break.
Yes, we'll have some big announcements.
We will be doing some big announcements first stream back from the break.
I think it's also important to point out that we are very lucky to have someone like Des as our DM as well, who puts in such incredible effort and time into everything.
Yeah, thank you. It goes both ways.
And I'm just looking at that.
Yeah, I just
saw that. Hello,
Marvel
memes.
I worked on a character that moves 5,280 feet per turn.
I'm curious.
Thanks for gifting a sub to them, but what?
Yeah.
I'll bite. What's the build? And hello, Demon. How are you today?
Hey, Demon. Subclasses are very fun and freeing to make, but can be stressful as hell.
Yes,
they can be.
And thank you for the
Speaking
follow,
of them as being stressful, there is the Stress Knight subclass.
Yeah, we do. If you check out our Patreon, we do have a full fighter. Like Kay did do fully and did very, very, very good job on making a Stress Knight fighter that we played during our mini-series of Raiders of Yozgren. Alright, let's rate this. Background, Rakdos Cultist, feats, mobile, class fighter, race tabaxi, spells, long stride, haste, glyph of warding, magic items, bag of holding, boots of speed, if I can get these. Speed tabaxi, base 30, long strider plus 10, swift elixir plus 10, unarmored defense plus 10, epic boon of speed plus 30, total is 110, feline agility times 2, and haste times 4, boots of speed times 8 is 880 feet. Movement, dash action, bonus action dash, haste action dash, action surge dash, dissonant whispers, reaction movement. That's a lot.
What the fuck? That is ridiculous. I love that.
That's so ridiculous.
Busting that out. Just
the DM made me as wanting to come out and make sure long stride and haste are not both concentration.
Okay, long stride isn't.
I'm
fairly sure. I know, and like haste definitely is, but
is long strider a spell?
Long strider, yeah, it's a spell.
Yeah.
I don't think it's concentration.
What level does this have to be? Because that's an artificer, bard, druid, ranger, wizard spell. And if it's a fighter, is it magic initiate that's taking that?
I know that probably from the. I know that the what's it called? The
Rakdos Cultist.
Rakdos Cultist gives a spell list.
Haste, glyph of warding. That's not concentration, I don't think.
Nah, that isn't, because you put it down on an object until it's dispelled. Pretty much. That's a very interesting build.
Look, it gets to the point where you need an epic boon, so it's going to be fairly high level. And Derek says, I'm calling the D&D police on you, Marvel memes. How will they catch you? That's a very fair point.
Yeah. Who is the D&D police?
Actually, I can answer how they'll catch you. Time stop.
I can tell you how they catch you. Just breaking your concentration on haste. Done.
Yeah. Oh, just dispel magic. Just hold it as a reaction for when you get past.
Now I'm just waiting for sort of
wait, could you imagine the G-force that would get pulled
there,
stopping at someone running at let's not talk about the 600 miles per hour. Imagine being 600 miles per hour and then just stopping with the haste as the stun kicks in. That's gonna turn your guts to just jelly.
Also, yeah, that would be fucking ridiculous.
Like, if the second the haste drops, it's just like, oof, no slowdown, just stop. Oof, that would just destroy one's innards.
Yeah.
But that does work, I think. Yeah, yeah, haste times your speed by 4, correct? Yeah, doubles it. Boots of speed. Wow, that's a...
Hey, Nathan, by the way.
What's up, Nathan? Time's an appropriate greeting to you.
Yeah. Returned.
That is a fun build. That is...
Yeah, I like that. Look, there is I do a soft spot for the weird tabaxi speed builds that people have created.
Look, you can outrun a Tarrasque at that stage, but I innately have an issue with the Tarrasque in 5e, and I don't want to get into it because it'll just start a rant that I will get completely stuck in. Because I don't like the Tarrasque in 5e. It's an Aarakocra level 1 with a magic bow can kill it.
Anyway, how about we get back to talking about Zarsan before we start talking about Tarrasque?
Look, not even the gods challenge progress, but our distraction will make progress challenging. Roll credits.
Done.
The slowest build.
But yeah, so I can't even remember what we were talking about last. I think we were talking like magic and stuff in regards to Zarsan.
We were, and we're talking founding date. So yeah, technically the oldest city is a few months older. Would be Castelia. Ojikir does rival that time. But sorry, a message come through. Working midnight is awful. Yes, do not do it. Yes, my sorcerer with 100 plus HP at level 7 was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But talking about the founding date, the technically Casalia was much larger. When Ojikir was first founded, it was literally just a small little outpost. Casalia was founded as like an actual hub for people. It couldn't have been called a city at that stage. So it is technically older, but because like Ojikir also prides itself on being founded without the help of, you know, the any form of what would eventually become gods. It was founded in 185 New Dawn, which actually, when we look at like the timelines compared between Ojikir and oh, 1 second, I actually don't have. Let's get Casalia up. I think they're not the same year. Casalia did not open when I clicked it. I gotta just get the timeline up. I think
also because with Casalia as well, you have to factor in like pre-destruction as well.
Sorry, no, Casalia is 109 New Dawn. Yeah, it's Casalia is much.
Yeah,
much.
It was founded during the war and then destroyed and then rebuilt.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, Casalia was rebuilt in 297 New Dawn. Ojikir was never rebuilt.
Hey.
So we're better.
I'm sure that there would be a lot of people there that would claim that.
There is a lot of people in Ojikir that are like, we are much better than the western half of the world, you know, because while like humanity did get all jumbled together, there is like a more distinguishable side between like western and eastern Quenthians.
Yeah, well, I imagine like this is something I've always been curious about. Like the eastern half of Quenthos is far less defined and far more. Like there's a lot more going on there in regards to the states. Like you have Burton, which is quite similar to the West. You have Sithasa, which is a jumbled mix, doing its own thing, but also just chaotic at the same time. And then you have Ojikir, which is kind of like this burning light of sort of progress without the Ascended and knowledge and everything in the north. Which prior to that was also just very much like a nomadic civilization.
Yeah,
as well.
it's a lot of plains, but they've got a very good geographic location as well for the sake of their wants and needs. Like they've got a lot of, you know, good like temperate Mediterranean climate, kind of arid enough that it's, you know, farming is not impossible. It's not the best, but you know, it can be quite as, you know, forbearing as
but it's
the West, but it's very good. Like it is, and their fishing trade is quite good.
But I think it's also in regards to the history of Ojikir and Zarsan, is that it often came post Jotans as well, though it had quite a few conflicts with the Woad itself. It didn't have the close connection to the Woad.
No, it did not.
That over in the West you had. It was such as there was a one shot I knew you guys did. I wasn't a part of it. No. Which was
Daria was.
Yeah, Daria was. And also, Daria, I'm disappointed you have not tried to search for an orphanage in a certain orphanage in Ojikir and a whole time.
That certain orphanage got burnt down, so artificers would eventually become playable.
Oh, fuck. So, in essence, like, your character led to artificers being created.
Okay, I had to stick that in there as a meme. I don't think Daria actually noticed that because Daria doesn't read the World Anvil. She's too cool for that. But it was in our World Anvil for a while until I literally pointed to it. I was like, "There's a meme in there," and Dara's like, "What do you mean?" And then she went and she saw the organization that was the Artificers, and she was like, "Mother."
Yeah, I read it.
If you can read. But we're talking about the sort of founding.
Yes.
And let's talk a little bit about how there's a main difference between how I think the biggest difference is a lot of the cities that we saw set up on the western side of Quenthos were powerful generals in humanity's resistance, and they kind of like we have like nobility forming around them, like, you know, not so much that they have like noble blood, but like technically noble blood now, but they were, you know, this thing of well, you were a leader, like you were a general, a knight, whatever you would have you, and that's how we got like Favendel, Rindleton, Arvagrad all founded by some leaders.
Arvagrad,
not Arvagrad, but
you
get what I mean.
Arvagrad.
Whereas Ojikir's ruled by a legislative body of 107 senators elected to lead the best interest of this country. It is a democracy, like from the get-go. Um, but someone said slowest build, halfling wizard, base speed 25, 9 in strength, full plate armor for 15 feet of movement per turn. Using an encumbrance rule, get them severely over encumbered with books and tomes for a total of about 8 feet per turn. Boom. Daria, crying face. Nice, you just described me. Oof. Oh, bye. Reading the Quentas World Anvil. World Anvil's pretty bog.
Yeah, the World Anvil is bog.
If you want to read it, it's on our page. You just have to subscribe to our Patreon or our Twitch. So if you got gifted a subscription to the Twitch, message me on the Discord. So you got to join the Discord. I am scamming you, and I will get you added to the World Anvil. But that being said, we've got a lot of differences in Ojikir, and we'll probably start going over like individual like differences between some of the cities soon, because there is, I think, of all players. Professional scammers, yes, correct. Daria has actually influenced and made a lot of impact on Zarsan as a country. Like, there is 2 villages, like, or small village / city style, like Lavoca size plus, that are directly related or, helped cause or concerned by Daria. We've got Kern, where Rainier, spoilers, massacred a lot of people. And then there is a small place close to where Rainier is originally from, like a city that is very close to where Rainier is originally from, called the Iron Stacks, which is where they harvest cold iron. There's a lot of stuff to talk about there. But, good on you, Daria, helping me flesh out Ojikir and Zarsan.
Giga Chat is cursed, by the way. Absolutely cursed.
That Giga Chat is a little cursed.
But yeah, so in regards to Zarsan, what were we? Massacre, heated gamer moment. Yeah, Rainier had a heated gamer moment and slaughtered half a town's worth of people. All a day's work,
So
look, Rainier crossed a bridge,
There is I suppose before we get off Ojikir, let's talk about some of the 2 greatest organizations within that date back to the founding. The Library of Ojikir that tried to, build and research and keep as much of the history of the world as possible. And they wish to uncover a lot of the pre-Dawn era stuff. One of the few locations on the surface to make contact with the elves. And we've seen a little bit of them with making contact with the Narkanath University that is related to the Starless. An attempt to kind of like learn about all the circumstances of humanity's arrival on Quentas. But the other organization we haven't explored is the Knights of the Amethyst Claw. A primarily Leonin knighthood order that holds about 6 seats on the 107-seat Senate. They're seen as local heroes within Ojikir and Zarsan as a whole. And many of their deeds, like specifically the founding members, being remembered in story and song. There's...
I'm quite curious about them. What's their whole thing, the Knights of the Amethyst Claw? Because that's something we haven't really gone into much. I don't think you or I have really talked about it. And I'm curious, how much information you have about them as an organization. What are their, what's their founding? I imagine it probably dates back to the war. But what's their goals? What's their purpose in Ojikir?
So, Demon Disguise, guys, I just realized something. When you think about it, Chainsaw Man is basically a warlock pact of the Fiend. The anime that they literally talk about making contracts with devils essentially to gain some of their power. I'm a keeper the book. I have not watched Chainsaw Man.
I haven't watched it. I've been meaning to watch it because I've heard a lot of good things about it. I know the hype around
I've heard a lot of good things. I do. I have very little time, and currently my anime time slot is just fulfilled by Bleach: A 1,000-Year Blood War. Because that was one of my first major animes, and it's just still a soft spot for my poor emo heart.
Fair. But yeah, I haven't meant to watch it, but that does sound very much like a warlock pact with the Fiend.
But talking about the Knights of the Amethyst Claw is they would kind of be what the Lord Rindle would have been, these great generals of Ojikir and Zarsan's rebellion. They would have been the equivalent to humanity's resistance, and they would have been the ones fighting back against the giants, the ones who would have helped clear out the giants around Fane Kin. They would have been, they're seen as protectors, and the order only ever holds 6. It's more like this 6 pillars to represent the 6 pillars that held up Ojikir at the beginning. You know, held up Zarsan before it was a country.
I see. I thought it was like a wider spread organization.
The Amethyst Claw is 6 knights only. They're very strong knights.
Okay. Okay, so more similar in that sense to, well, probably more involved, but similar to the Knights of the Ark in that sense.
I could really worry you right now. So the Knights of the Amethyst Claw holds 6 seats on the Ojikir, the Zarsan Senate. What if Proxir is an Amethyst Claw? You don't know yet, but that would be really worrying.
That would be very concerning. Yeah, so actually that's interesting. Yeah, because I always thought of them as like a bit more of a widespread organization that sort of protects Ojikir, but yeah, it's more of, I guess, like in the moment, in the current state for Zarsan, it's probably not entirely so. They're still very capable, but they're more of a ceremonial role, being a Knight of the Amethyst Claw given to,
But yeah, there's not that much conflict, so it's a lot of the military leaders. Dara says, jokes on you, I don't even remember who Proxir is. Look, it's probably Prior. It's somebody. It begins with a P, we know that much.
Yeah. Look, we had a whole conversation at the start of the last stream where people couldn't remember the names.
I had to stop and explain. Although I think Raynor literally walked out during that meeting, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, probably.
But no, the Amethyst Claw, like, it's something that's... It is a knighthood order, like that's the thing, is it is knights. So there's a certain level of training and respect that one does have to go through to get into it. And like, you have to squire before you would ever become a knight of the Amethyst Claw. And it'd be very similar to what we saw with the Knights of the Tempest Soul and Teethan. It's, there can only ever be 6. So squires would have to wait upon the death of one of the knights or something equivalent to take one of the seats. And that is how we see, not so much that they were, like... Not every Amethyst Claw wishes to be a senator, but every Amethyst Claw is a senator because the organization's 6 members are each granted a seat on the Senate for the matters of discussing, like, wartime and martial matters. Like, they would very much so have less of a voice when it comes to, like, architectural advancements or, political relations, unless it was more wartime, but it's almost a glorified seat on the Senate where their actual say on the day-to-day runnings of the country are very little, and it's only when there is talk of war or conflict, civil or otherwise, that there could be a moment where their opinion is valued, because they're very, very keen tacticians and they do play a decent role there. But that being said, they're not really seen as like studied politicians who understand the workings of a country. Tacticians they are, politicians they are not.
Yes, however, they still have votes in the Senate, so I imagine there's a lot of people that try.
They still have votes, so there's still people trying to get honeyed words and
people who try to sway them to their positions and such.
Yeah, but they would very rarely participate in any form of debate. Now, I would like to see, historically speaking, a Amethyst Claw who hates the fact that they're not taken seriously as a senator unless it's war stuff, and like they really try their best.
Yeah, which would be quite a interesting storyline to follow. Like, that's the thing. I imagine there could be a lot of very intriguing storylines within the Ojikirian or the Zarsan Senate.
I think we've described Ojikir as a city of a couple 100,000. Very similar to. So I think it would be very good for a city crawling game. And imagine, I definitely wouldn't do it for next campaign, but I would love to do maybe a mini series or something on it where we are playing, like the group's playing 5 senators trying to help get stuff done.
Des, that I would absolutely love that.
And I think having one of them being an Amethyst Claw who's like, the marshal of the group, but just never taken seriously in terms of like debate, it's just like...
Well, also, I imagine that there could very easily be a Amethyst Claw, like a military commander within Zarsan who is very politically ambitious. and who knows that essentially, if they rise high enough within the military, will get an automatic position into the Senate.
Yeah, if you can get like that
anything.
title of an Amethyst Claw, like get squired, absolutely. And Dar says, "Ooh, I'd love that politics time." There is a unannounced project that myself and Raph are working on. That is literally just me and Raph working on. That I am within about. No, I'm confident you would fucking love it. But we'll only be announcing that in the new year.
Yeah. But there is something.
There is something that is very much so how you like to play.
Yes.
That I think would be right up your alley, and you'll be among the first to be asked to be part of it.
It's a very big project. It's a very big project we have in the works.
It's extremely large. But
yeah.
Second. Yes, that's what you just messaged me, Raf. That is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I was just gonna say just say that name, like people are like, oh yeah. But no, like that will not be the announcement that we'll be doing in the first week of November.
No, that is not the announcement in November. That will be an announcement in the new year. Dari says,
yes.
Wait, how do I play? Like being sexy and smart. Sure thing, buddy. Sure thing.
Yeah, like that.
Absolutely. Check the Google Drive. We're all sexy and smart.
But yeah, so that's quite interesting, actually. But then in regards to the Library of Ojikir, do they have, in terms of like the same political influence and role, is there a similar type of thing in regards to them, or is it much more of a clean divorce between the two institutions, between them and the Senate?
The two institutions is a bit of a clean divorce. Now that's not just like, I can say every Amethyst Claw is a senator. Now I can say that, you know, some senators could have high-ranking positions within, or had high-ranking positions within the college, the Libraries of Ojikir. But being a high-ranking member of the Libraries of Ojikir does not automatically grant you a seat on the Senate.
Right.
You know, there is literally only 6 reserved seats.
Yeah, we grant you the rank of
archivist, but do not make it a senator.
Archivist. Yeah.
No, but that's the thing is, like, bar the Amethyst Clause, there is no, off the top of my head right now, and I may change this down the line, but there's no held seats. Like, those other 101 seats are up for grabs. Those are based on elections.
Yeah, there is no inherent. Okay, so it is an elected thing as well.
And yeah, it is an elected thing, and there is, like, I would say that, bar the Amethyst Claw, most of them serve for a term of about 7 to 8 years, and then hopefully get put back into, you know, put back into the Senate. You know, it's there is no cap. Like, they can continually be a senator, but they have to be constantly elected, which is, you know, kind of,
I don't know, something I've always been curious about in D&D is republics in sort of fantasy settings like D&D and stuff. The concept of elections and things like that, as we see it, for long-lived races, like being in power for like a short period of time would be like, okay, that's like nothing. What am I going to do with like 5 years? This is just like a fraction of time for me, and it would be very interesting. It's just something to explore. I think
there would be a bigger influence in an Elven kingdom, whereas we do have some Loxodons.
I mean, Loxodons still live like 500 years, I think.
Yeah.
So they still they're still very long-lived, compared to like humans in Ojikir, Zarsan.
No, absolutely, but...
Or even Leonins.
That being said, it's, these like 7 to 8 years, but there is no cap on how long one can be a senator for. So, like, you do have these people out there that are career senators.
How corrupt is Zarsan and like the Senate and all of that? Let's be real here, Des. How corrupt is it?
How corrupt? At least 3.
Okay.
No, so I will say there is definitely like a handful of senators in there that care more about their life as a senator than their duties as a senator. But that being said, it's, you know, like, you would see typical stuff like voter suppression, you know, you do see some corruption, but overall I would say it's not that bad as of the moment. Because the nature of Leonins and Loxodons, but as the sort of nature of, like, the standard nature of Leonins and Loxodons is very, like, proud, but also quick to try and settle things with fists. So if they see corruption, it'll be like, I challenge you to trial by combat very quickly, and it's
See, now I'm just imagining like there's like a debate in the Senate, and it gets heated, and then just two senators like, I challenge you to a duel over this. And
oh yeah, no, absolutely, there is in the Ojikirian Senate, like where the main Senate house is. It is not uncommon for a debate to end in bloodshed.
I love that. But it's interesting, actually, because that's something I could see change as the world progresses down the line and times come and change, and you have that side to Leonins and Loxodons change as they adapt to much more of a... I don't know the word I'm reaching for, but a very different type of life.
But less quick to aggression.
Style. Less quick to aggression and more of
I definitely think we're probably going to see a law pass in the coming years for Zarsan where weapons and fights to the death are no longer allowed within the Senate buildings, Yeah. But that's kind of one of we see the more like Senator Stormhold is someone who I definitely think we can, by the way you've talked to her at the very least, is someone who's extremely calculating. Like they're not as quick to anger. It's more this, well, let's play this out, and always that thing of like, let someone get angry and be like, well, like if they don't agree with me, like I will fight you to the death. And it's like, are you not smart enough to fight me with your words? Then why are you a senator? Are you an amethyst claw?
Me of your point? Yeah. And
it's like,
convince me of your point. It seems like you've already lost the debate in that case. Like
you may win a fight, but you've still lost this debate. My death will not disregard my opinion, so have at you. If you so wish to kill me.
That. Yeah, I like that. So that's very interesting, actually, in terms of...
so it would be almost seen as like the more immature side of them to try and challenge it, because you would get like these people be like, in debates throwing like, underhanded comments at people and be like, you strike my honor, fight me now. And it's like, sit down, young cub, this is not over. Like,
yeah.
Which I love the idea of, just the down talk.
I'd love to get into a even just like a mini game, but just like full Zarsan city crawling type of thing. I think that'd be fantastic. I love the suggestion of yours about a group of senators. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Look, the concept of just playing senators and like political stuff, I just love in general. So, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I do as well. Literally, Callous India at the moment.
Literally, Callous India.
But yeah, so going back to talk about Zarsan.
That's Zarsan related. We're okay.
That is Zarsan related. But in terms of going back, talking about the Library of Ojikir, actually, I'm curious, like, what's their... Like, did they just emerge with the founding of the city type of thing? Or, like...
Yeah, they date back to the founding. It was more the... Like, the members that were trying to... Like, there was a group of historians that date back to the starting of Ojikir that were very curious as to what did we come from? Like, that constant question of, like, what is our beginning? And that's what led them to the Starless, trying to track as much stuff as they can to the Rapid, albeit they don't know it that. They know it as the war-torn lands of the gods. They try and track stuff too there, but they're trying to track where they come from. Like, there is that sort of longing to be like, what happened to us? Because, if the Star Elves and the Starless Elves come from the dying god, what did we come from? And unfortunately, that answer is dead in the War of the Gods. But
for now,
no, that the answer of the Leonin one is dead from the War of the Gods.
Oh, it's literally dead.
The Leonin god died.
I just assumed that was the matron.
The matron? No. They're one of the few races that unfortunately oofed it in the War of the Gods and the War of the Jotuns versus gods as well.
Shout out to the goblins whose god also died.
Yeah, there's like goblins, orcs, Jotuns. Sorry, not orcs. Goblins, goblins, Leonins. There's a fair few. I have a list somewhere. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Well,
deceased gods.
that is it though. That is the ones that did perish, completely
Yeah.
and irreversibly. Um, but
Yeah, but I'm curious about the Library of Ojiki. Like, is its goals pretty much what it says, like what it says on the surface in terms of trying to just collect this knowledge and of the history of Quenthos and whatever it can, and going back to like pre-dawn history and all of that. Like, is it very much just as in tin, or is there like other motives behind it with its search?
so their motives are pretty straightforward. The motives, that being said, there is corruption. As with any massive organization, there's bound to be corruption. And that's just the unfortunate reality of it. In the matter of the Senate, it's how do you deal with the corruption? And obviously, not Senate, the Oshikaren Library. And it's like there is people within there that are trying to get access, kind of like you saw it, 25,000 gold for like the information. Like they want these things. Like they want to rival that of like the archives of Arsandra. They want to rival the Narcan at the university. There is that ambition for what they so see as like they could do it better. That is like the constant thing. It's like I could do this, like I could do this better than you could. So how about you let me do it? Let me explore this, and you don't have to worry about it. I can figure this out better than you. Like there's that sort of like, not a pun, but the pride of the Leonin, to try and figure these things out. There is that sort of like I'm just better equipped. Like you are not ready to understand what you are looking into, so I will do it. Which, I think we do see that like a lot with various organizations already. Like we see that with the Jorhakin. Like they have that extreme, like even like that disdain we saw for Merkestiel for just being from the College of Storms. It's like, you are not trustworthy for us. We are at odds. As much as we say we're not, you and I are enemies. While we may not want to bring each other to bloodshed, we do sometimes have to do that. If like, if for example, like rock paper scissors style world, you see a agent of the Ojikirian libraries, a archives of Arasanra, and a member of the Nameless Untold, all in a crypt trying to get a tome, that will come to blows. They will not fix that with words. So there is that ambition of the Ojikirian library, and they're not afraid to fight for their spot among the greats of knowledge in the world. They believe themselves to be, worthwhile to be on the same pedestal as all these other groups. Well, they see it as the surface they are the oldest. Arguing, their argument would be that technically the Jorhakin is an underground library, but on the surface, which is also, I imagine from their perspective as well, like the College of the Storms is very much driven by Lezefican, and they could easily see in their lens that they deem the gods have no...
and they're hiding some... and they're probably hiding some more relevant to the gods. They're very secretive. There's a lot of background stuff they're probably going on with what knowledge they do collect. And they would probably see the archives of Arasana as being focused on very specific type of things and not having a general scope of knowledge. So they see themselves as the best, probably as the inheritors of the knowledge on service. Like, it is their role to maintain what they can. If we don't record this, who will? Exactly. And not just that, but as well as, like, it is our duty, it is our right as the oldest organization here on the surface to be in that position. Like, and like you see it, there is like, obviously Senator Stormhold is like, she was once a high-ranking member of the college, the libraries of Ojikir. That's why she's able to offer you this. But like, there is senators up there, like especially some career senators who have been there so long, and they are willing to drop money for like trying to like upstand and bring the libraries up a pedestal, because it's also like, I would say among Quenthos, the library of, like, on surface now, not mind you, like not below surface,
Like, the library of Ojikir would rival some countries' palaces. Like, I would say the Palace of Rindleton would probably be the same size, if not smaller, than, like, that 7-floor structure that is, you know...
Well, it's a palace in itself. Like, the library of Ojikir is a palace in itself.
I would actually say
very much
the library of Ojikir is bigger than the Palace of Burton.
Well, I was going to say as well, I imagine the library of Ojikir probably is, like, same size, maybe bigger than the Senate of Zarsan. Like,
yeah, it's about the same. Like, the buildings are similar size.
Yeah.
You know, similar architectures. And that's probably another thing is, like, they pride themselves on, like architecture and construction. Like, they're like, well, look at what we have managed to build, you know, these beautiful buildings. Like, it's, like, very Colosseum style, like, you know, these, you know, Greek architecture, and this great architecture. And they're just like, we just do it better. Like,
yeah, you know, Zarsan does
they're
it
like, College of Storms and the Archives of Arsana are constantly like, the fact that there is the existence of the archives and the Nameless Untold shows that there are people that cannot be trusted to take knowledge. Wherein the College of the Storms is like, if we just hide it, we are making people go mad trying to find this stuff. Like, we are making people who want to kill for knowledge, and that shouldn't be the way. Like, you know, not all knowledge should be free, so to speak, but we shouldn't make enemies before we have a chance to make allies, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I think if you saw something like, let's take the Book of Vile Deeds. Like, obviously it doesn't really exist in setting for what we have. However, if the Archives of Arsana took that, they would try and contain it. If the Nameless Untold got that, no, the Nameless Untold will also try and keep it. Like, those two organizations would be like, we have to hoard this because, like, we need to know how to beat it. Where I think the main difference is the libraries of Ojikir would be like, that is evil. That is innately going to make conflict in the world. We will destroy it.
Okay.
Like, that information doesn't need to exist. Like, if there's kind of the argument within the Ojikir library that if it is too dangerous that you need to guard it, it is too dangerous to exist.
Yep, that's quite interesting in that aspect. Like,
it's like, you don't need to guard it, you just need to get rid of it, because if you're guarding it, you're making people who are going to come and try and get it. The fact that there is a place out there that guards information, you're just creating people who want to attack you.
So in that sense, they don't really believe in texts of that level existing in the first place. Like,
well, no, like, they don't mind if it's something that could, like, bless humanity. But, like,
well, yeah, but, like, how would they view codexes in that case? Codices.
Well, that would be codices. They would view as, this is not innately evil. Like, this is something that could be used in the same purpose to use. So let's say, for example, let's say that if the Into Osiris was reversed, it wasn't people from Antarthia, it was people from Zarsan who went in conjunction with the library of Ojikir, and the Codex Incabulum that we found, would they seek to destroy it? Considering that it opened up the potential havoc and danger it possesses. Yes.
They would seek to destroy it.
They would seek to figure out if its destruction would break the barrier as well.
Yes, but if there was a way that they could contain it and stop people from using its effects to weaken the barriers between Osiris and Quenthus.
Actually, I would say there is that...
goodbye and good luck to you.
There would be the small sect within the Ojikir library that if something of that level was so dangerous, they would reach out to surprise this, like, the exception to the rule. Xerxes, the god of secrets, steal the knowledge of this from existence.
Ooh, okay.
Same with what the Artifact of Ascension is. They see what Xerxes, like, the respect that they have for the gods, like, because they're not one of the reasons why, like, for example, someone who's on the Senate isn't going to will no longer be a member of the, like, higher ranking members of the library of Ojikir, is because they would look at that, what he did with the Artifact of Ascension, like, stealing it and then stealing the knowledge of what it even was. That was the best possible outcome. Like, so there would be texts that they have found that be like, take this and take the knowledge of it.
Yeah.
And as, like, you know, it's the only time I could see an Ojikirian organization working with the deity.
Yeah, I'm curious in that sense. Like, What about the in terms of Starless? In that case, how would they treat knowledge such as that then? In terms of in
The
comparison
Narconetti
to
University?
yes.
The Inquisition can handle it.
Okay, but then it would still be to try and possess and contain this knowledge, or would it be to destroy it?
I would say that would heavily depend. I would say that there is some texts that it would be like, let's use the example of the Codex Encabulum. Breaks down the barriers between infernal realm and breaks down the barriers between infernal and material. It can freely pass through Cirrus into material plane. The Inquisition would look at that and be like, you lost it because you were incompetent. The Starless are not incompetent.
Yeah, there is the pride and there is the arrogance of the Starless.
Yes, that is the problem. It's like,
which is very much the same as the Jean Hakim. Yeah, but it's very much the same as the Jean Hakim in that sense. Like, okay, you guys can do it, but we can because we're better at doing this. So, like, come on, guys.
There is that pride, but also it's in the sense of, again, this would probably be something that the Inquisition kind of thinks of as like, why do you care? Like, let Osiris take this book. Let them open all the portals, because for the moment that the dying god has returned to their glory, they will not wish to open a portal.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, they can have that book if they wish until the stars return, and that is not a promise. That is a threat.
That is a threat. Like, if you tangle with this world, you're tangling with the dying god.
Exactly.
Do with that knowledge as you will. This is his world. Again,
I could even see that some agents from the Inquisition are like chained up being tortured for like information. It's like, you may have this information until the stars return. And like, it's used as a threat. It's not used as a it's not used as a hope or anything. It's just like it's kind of like a this means glory for us, but absolute like destruction for our enemies.
Yeah. Like, by doing this, you have set yourself on a path to destruction.
Like, I don't wish to talk about like Cal's death, but I would love, and even like we saw it a little. No, like we saw it a little bit. I think some of Cal's last words were "until the stars return."
It was, yeah.
Yeah, the final words are the "until the stars return," which is like, again, it's like if you think of Cal looking at Screw as they're dying, it's like you look at that and you go, you've like the kind of internal monologue of you've messed with the prophet of the dying god until the stars return, Screw, and like that's not a promise, that's a threat at that stage.
Threat. Which is the thing, is that like even the decaying lord doesn't want to interfere with Cal. Like, he technically has his soul, but he wants to give it back because he doesn't want to attract the attention of the dying god.
Yeah, it's like, I've got this, but I'm like, it's kind of like he has the nuclear codes. He doesn't want to use them.
Yes,
but
he doesn't want to use them.
They're a good thing to have.
Yeah, because like I know we've talked about this the last few weeks, but the old gods are a force of nature unto themselves. Like,
the old gods are the nuclear option, like 100%.
Yes, they are single-handedly, probably what has protected the material plane from interference from everywhere else in terms of large-scale interference. But at the same time, they have caused untold havoc and destruction. So you have very much like this two-sided thing. Like, yeah, sure, devils don't want to push in quite as much, but there's also the fact that the War of the Gods.
Yeah, but you look at one, I think a very, very good example. We're so off topic, by the way. We're just so fucking off topic. It's unbelievable. You look at something like Zara Corvette. One old one destroyed a planet. She just like, it's shattered.
Got to the planet's core
in pieces,
and then just shattered.
Like, that's kind of what you're dealing with. It's like you look up at Dragor or something, and like the Lord of the Thicket. If they, like, example, they didn't open a portal into fucking Asian Alexander because, well, the dying gods just burrowed into the planet in 5-4. Fuck. Just,
yeah. Shit.
Because it's like, if, like, let's say the dying god gets resurrected to they're like, just using this as an example. Lord of the Thicket tries to invade Asian Alexander. Stepping through the portal isn't any worse. It's just the dying god, and just says to the Lord of the Thicket, I remember a time when there was 11 planets. I don't mind 8.
Such a fun. Okay, that is a really cool fucking line. And now I kind of want to see that.
No, because like that is what we're dealing with.
I
It's
was
like
gonna
I
say
remember
is-
when there was 11 realms. We can do
Yeah.
8.
Yeah. I was going to say as well, like, imagine that, just if they can't control the portals open, they're just one opened in the middle of Lake Hethspire. They walk out, see the Eye of Ruin, turn around, walk back through the portal.
Could you
Yeah.
actually imagine that? It's just, there's a starless sitting, portal opens, and then just goes, steps up, and it's this centaur-like thing with 8 arms, each with a greatsword, and they're just like, fucking close the fucking door!
Close, close, close. It's like the end of Rogue One where Darth Vader's coming through. That's essentially the
That's
the
the...
devil's
that
trying to
is
close
it,
the
like,
fucking
you
door
know.
from the old gods.
Oh my god. Like, that's... Because remember, we talk about the old gods. These are great old ones. Like, we saw one
Yes.
crash into Iverillium when we did our Iverillion stream, and that just wiped out a civilization.
Yeah. Yeah, they have untold power. And just because some have, civilized, that doesn't mean they're incapable of going back to what they were in terms of the sheer destruction and havoc they can wreak.
By the old
it
ones,
doesn't
I
stop them
fucking
from that.
love the idea of... I remember when there was 11 realms. I don't mind
I
an 8.
just love that line. That is such a cold line, but it's so in character for them as well.
It would be. Like, that would be the dying... Like, that war mentality. It's like, I do not mind there being 8 realms.
Yeah. But I think to get back a bit more on
I
topic,
don't even know where we were. We're talking about the...
I think the
like-
library. See, one thing I'm quite curious about is how Zarsan will cope and deal with the rise of Mentarathea, because that is a civilization that would counter a lot of particularly the library. A lot of what they're trying to push for, it would be very much an antithesis to them.
Yeah, they have a lot
Very
of
much
similarities, but
against-
they have a lot of differences.
Yes, exactly. So
I think there
it'd
would be a
very
surface level
interesting.
alliance. I do think that.
I think. Okay, you think this, so?
I think until first conflict, I think it would break down. I think it would be a really tumultuous alliance, being like, we can
I
work
think-
together.
I think it would be, but at the same time, we know that Ojikir's oldest and longest alliance has been with Arvograd, which Arvograd has placed itself as part of, down the line, will place itself against Mentarathea.
Well, not so much against, but as part of like a non-aggression pact being formed. That's like we, Favendel, Rindleton, and Arvograd can no longer see this much warshed because it is spilling into our territory, so this can stop now.
Yeah.
So,
And basically drawing the line from Mentarathea being, if you push forwards with this war, the 3 of us will attack.
yeah, which is how
that was
that does
very
end.
much what it comes down to.
But I see the trade of information because there is like that sort of want of magical progress. Like with artifice, like we do see, like in our setting, there is like literally like material that is like stained by old gods and such called. I just want to get this right because I want to know the word for it. In this side of the world, I know the different percentage, but Vartium, which is like the innate
Yes,
essence
that's
of like. Actually, this is the best way I can ever explain Varthium after both of us done. Varthium is to the old gods what the runes in Elden Ring are to the Great Rune. Varthium is spread out by the gods, like just like by their innate presence of where they fix the weave. Varthium is like that spread out in the actual land.
Huh. Okay. So it's very much like the influence that the old gods have upon the weave
On the land,
formed
like,
into a material form.
yes.
That's kind of cool. That is
Yeah.
very cool.
It's like now it's not in everything like in Elden Ring where you can get it from enemies or whatever, but it's like it's in the earth, like it's in the air, but where it specifically comes through is in the earth, in the ground, in the rock, is these Varthium deposits, which there is a concentration, like almost like spider-like weave coming out like from the like Headspire where there actually is an old one where it kind of just ripples out and you start to see it like affect these minerals and like metal deposits in the ground where they almost fuse into Varthium. It's like a combination of metal and magic.
That's actually kind of. I didn't realize it had that strong connection.
Like that thing is
yeah,
magic.
that's
Even
fine.
like in chat, like you could not make a magic item if there was no old gods ever on Quentis.
Yes.
If there was never old gods on Quentis, man would not make magic. Like, that is it. Like, they would make magic for a little bit, but the reparation and the fixing of the weave comes from the old gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the important thing. It's like, that's their planet was that of such extreme magic, got destroyed, but like, they are beings of such extreme magic.
Yeah. Which is be quite interesting, because we haven't seen Varthium really in Quenthos.
It is in Ojikir. That's how Artifice is coming to be.
Yes.
That is it. Like, that the discovery of Artifice is directly tied to Varthium.
Well, it exists everywhere. It's actually learning how to harvest it and then extract it into a usable form.
I would say Sapperstone is almost like...
Well, you and I discussed
a version of
before that it is, in a sense, Sapperstone, which is what is the actual term for Sapperstone? There's Sapperstone, there's like the...
They call it Verithium.
Term. Verithium. Yes, basically is a form of Varthium.
Yeah, it is. It is like a part of the genome that is like... because you could argue that if magic is living, Varthium is part magic. So it's part of the genome. Like, it is like an offshoot, but it's more like if Varthium is breathing out magic, Verithium is breathing in magic.
Yes, like
it's kind of like a tree. It's like one is breathing it in, one is breathing it out.
Yes, it saps it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, like in Ojikir, they're going to have something that, like, Varthium is very quickly, when it becomes more popularized, is going to adopt the name Seeperstone, like, because it seeps magic. It's going to have Sapper and Seeperstone.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, like, it's very similar to Sapperstone, but it's the opposite. So it doesn't sap, it seeps. All right, well. Kind of like the layman's term would be like,
the layman's term.
Be like Seeperstone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually really interesting. Because I imagine, like, somewhere down the line that will come into it, but it won't be too far. Probably next campaign.
Next campaign, it'll probably play a big part. Now that Daria's gone, we can talk about the artificers and all next campaign a lot
Which is actually something that I wanted to try and, like, segue into, is how the formation of artificers within Zarsan and how it becomes sort of the foremost nation in creating this form of magic, which I think also ties into what we've discussed already, is the fact that there isn't really divine magic, and with arcane knowledge and stuff not really existing too much in the world in regards to schools and such, this is them creating their own form of magic to use.
Absolutely. It's like, trying to harness these like outside elements, and specifically it's the Gilded Gear set. It was only founded in 539 New Dawn, which is a year ago in setting. Alternative name, you can just call them the Cogs. But it's started by two Leonins within Ojikir, Merrill Verk, which is now I realize where all of you are trying to remember Merrick Cath from. Merrill and Merrick are quite similar, probably.
Yeah.
Probably like, why have I heard that name? There it is. And Sanam Sataya, thought to be mad with their ideas of invention and using odd substance to create magical effects and items. They coined the term progressive artifice. Now Merrill runs the day-to-day business, but the partner is large runnings of the workshop, spreading the school of artifice to any who wish to learn the glory. The history of it was founded very recently, but the Senate was originally trying to shut down the halls of the Gilded Gear set due to claims of destruction around it and the inability of Merrill or Sanam to produce results of their thought experiments. It was funded by the Senate being like, okay, if you can use this material to actually make stuff, do it. But on the note of their last gathering in the Senate, where it was actually being discussed the vote to officially close them down, these two soot-covered Leonins carrying 3 boxes, only of one which would prove to be needed to sway the 107 senders, is the smallest box. It was a small metallic head. Sentience is designed through metal and magic. While constructs are not uncommon, a free-thinking automaton was not before seen now. And that's how we see something as similar akin to Warforged will be eventually in the world, or Gearforged. Well, no, Warforged would specifically be the sort of similar idea. Look at that nerd in chat. Yo, Jen, how you doing?
Hey, how you going, Jen? But yeah, so that is the origin of
Yeah.
artificers within the world. Um,
It dates back to two dudes.
it's two dudes working in their little workshop, tinkering around, and coming across some very strange rocks.
That's
That
it. They
they knock
saw a lot of
together.
this, like the opposite of Sapperstone, and just, you know, worked it out. Like that was what it came down to at the end of the day. It's just
Yeah.
like,
So, I mean, given in these streams we can talk a bit out of, I guess, campaign and everything, like how long before it grows from just two Leomans tinkering to something greater than that? Yeah, I
yeah,
know
Daria
Daria
actually just
left.
left it, Jen. She left like 20 minutes ago. It's hilarious. We were talking we were going to get to it, but she said she had to pop off. But yeah, we're talking about the origins of Artificer, which if she read the World Anvil, she would know. But no, Raph, speaking there, how long it would be is it's about next campaign's length. So whatever the time jump I decide to be, like there is a school of artifice coming to Ojikir and Zarsan, you know, and spread throughout some of the cities within Zarsan. They will spread, like the Guild of Gearset is going to become quite a large guild. We will see an influx of artificer until I eventually decide to wipe them all out. So Dari can only ever play them once. But that being said, it's like, yeah, next campaign ish, which you know, we'll stop talking about next campaign because Jen's here and I don't want to give it away. Give it away for free.
Got a little bit of suspense.
Put a little bit of suspense. Man, I want to talk about it so much. Like I know we're still in the
What
end of
spoilers
seasons.
can you give out this? What spoilers can you give out? What like little temptations you can dangle before people?
What can I dangle before people? Well, last time I did that for Jen, she accidentally leaked the entire thing to the group chat because I didn't tell her not to.
What was that? What was that?
That was my original idea to get art. That, you know, all like my original idea for, I think it was the Quentin, when I originally intended to get Quentin Journey art, Jen just leaked it because I was like, yo, like, want to hear this thing that I've got planned? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And then ever since then, I've been like, whenever I tell Jen something, I'm like, just so you know. Hey, Aliki, how you doing? Have I told anything that you haven't told me to tell? Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I just preface it now.
Also, hello, Aliki. Welcome to our world building stream that we've got going.
Yeah,
nice to have you here. How are you doing today?
How's your day going? But Jen, what? So I've talked to everybody. I think the main thing I can talk about the next campaign is the main theme. So, you know, I would argue that Kingslayers is kind of a, like, not exactly right way of describing it. I don't know the best way to describe it. It's almost a story of redemption. Like, trying to restore your, like, you know, prove that you weren't actually monsters and to try and take down the Saint. Whereas next campaign, I definitely see us starting. Wait, other people know the main theme? No, no one knows the main theme. But the main theme of what it kind of I want to explore with the next campaign is kind of very much so this like nature versus nurture idea of, like, you know, that kind of very iconic thing that came from Critical Role. You weren't born with venom in your veins. Hanging in there, it's better than hanging on. Can I propose a monster? Of course you can propose a monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jen says I was about to feel left out now. Well, if you show up to the world building streams, you actually do end up. We end up talking about future stuff a lot.
Yeah, we end up giving out a lot more information than we probably should.
Probably should, but it's okay. None of you guys watch our show.
Especially towards the end, like at the start, we'll keep all that stuff in, and at the end, when we know once everyone's left, usually then
we had one. We were talking about the old gods, and we talked about the true eldritch forms of each of some of the old gods, which was cool.
Yeah.
But time to get back to the VODs.
No, not the VODs.
But that being said, like, I think that I love that idea of, like, you weren't born with venom in your veins, and I want to explore were people, like, kind of,
yes.
Like, but I don't know. After doing such a what I would consider a hot open, like with Kingslayers, I think we can't argue. Kingslayers was a hot open. It opened with you killing a king, you know. And
then, like, waking up after 4 years having just murdered a king.
Yeah, I kind of like. I know it's very like popular now to not do just typical standard. I would love to just do y'all meet in a tavern.
You meet in a tavern. You're a group of people meeting in a tavern for the first time. Yeah,
just like that.
I kind of like that because I don't think
I haven't done that in so long.
That. I don't think I've ever done that in the game. I don't think I've ever just met people in a tavern. I know everyone talks about it as being the standard experience, but I think so many people don't want to do it that I just haven't experienced it before, and I really want to.
And
I've always had
Aliki says a giant gnome that eats souls, or a gnome, depending on what you want to pronounce it as. How giant are we talking? Like giant gnome is just like a regular sized human, or like giant?
Like ancient dragon size. Also, Jen, if it wasn't hot, I don't know what is. I've seen a lot of hot people in my time. Exactly, like all.
I have seen a lot of hot people in my time. My entire D&D group is full of
every
hot
Monday.
People. Every Monday. Every Monday night. Every Monday night. Check the Google Drive. You're looking mighty fine tonight, chat.
Welcome, Cookie.
You know, I would. God, I think I told you in open. Like, what was we were talking about it before. Not like specifically this campaign, but I had an idea for a meet in a tavern style open, but there was like a small twist to it.
It was through the Land of Sleepless Dreams.
It was, and I can't remember.
I can't remember what it. I think it was like we fell asleep there at the tavern and we got like pulled into the Land of Sleepless Dreams or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Like, I definitely want to do a bit more like where we've had open world. Hey, Crimson, how you doing? Crimson. What's up with you, my gamer? Nice to see you here. It's a pleasure to have you. The legendary. Oh, you humble me. You humble me. Thank you. You're too good. Oh, the legendary and Raph. You know, it's like Pinky and the Brain. I should become a barkeep. Bet.
Do it.
Cocky, you reach out to me on Discord. We will make a tavern keeper that is like basically your NPC insert.
Yeah. And for everyone that just joined, welcome. How are you all doing?
Yeah, how are you guys doing?
Both Cookie and Crimson. How are you doing?
What are you doing around this part of Twitch today, Crimson? You waiting for Evan to go live? Are you waiting for Evan to go live?
Evan hasn't been going live on.
No, he has. I think we've just been missing him at our raid time because we've been ending a little early. Raph the Wilk God. Okay. Yeah, look, I've got Wilk. I've got whiskey and I've got milk. And if we get a $10 dono, I'll drink a bit of it together. NPC insert. Yo, Crimson. Yeah, we're talking world building, we're talking barkeeps, and we're talking kind of like vague idea for like what our next campaign is going to be. And our current campaign opened with literally the party losing 4 years of their memory and then killing a king and waking up to that. So we had what would you consider a very hot open. And next campaign, I'm really just kind of wanting to go back to the classic y'all meet in a tavern and like open world. No, like you don't know your BBEG at the start, and it's kind of like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed adventurers.
Yeah,
some figurative, some like, literal, depending on the races they play.
But very much like just explore the world for a little bit.
Opened my box yesterday on stream. Had fun with that. What was in the box? What's in the box?
Yeah. What's in the box?
That's cool though. What if instead of actually meeting at a bar, the group gets yoinked in a group dream at a bar and meeting up that way, thinking it's real until they find out through the dream? That's just, and then they wake up in the bar where they all meet.
I kind of like that though. Like, what if like a powerful wizard of sorts wants to pull together a group of people for a job, but instead of getting them to a meeting point, just pulls them all into like a dream meeting and is like, "Yo, I want all of you."
Gnome race. Gnome race is not a K but a G. Yes. A barkeep that serves nuggies only for good boy points. That's it. You gotta have enough good boy points.
I love that. Look, there needs to be who invents nuggies in Quintus.
The gnarled nuggies, just the bar.
It can be your NPC insert.
The box had a couple of MTG commander decks along with sleeves and deck boxes. It was a gift for Evan and Ella. Oh, that's super nice. That's super nice. Really cool. Does Evan play them? I have only ever played Magic on Arena. I've never had the pleasure of doing it in person because I just live in a really small town.
What a nerd.
What a nerd. Raph, you've played Magic, haven't you? No, you've never been card games.
No. I've never played Magic. It's a great way to test if people can actually work together.
I love Commander.
It's true, actually.
Commander's cool.
Shit, do you play, Jen? That's cool.
Jen's a nerd. She definitely plays.
I like the cards. The cards do look pretty.
The cards are pretty. And Oh, when I have played in Magic in Arena, I only ever played like Theros or Ravnica decks because I'm a D&D
Sure.
nerd.
Yeah, fair.
There's I have like 2 to 3 decks. Nice. Most people only have 1 deck.
That's cool.
A lot of fat packs, fat stacks.
Mhm.
But no, that's really cool, Crimson. That's what was the general
Yeah.
themes? Green white for the win. I did a blue white deck was what I used to do.
I have no idea what that means.
It's mana
but
color.
green white is a pretty cool color combination. I like it.
The Dream Dragon with googly wild eyes. Is that the name of a tavern or just an idea?
No, that was the going back to Land of Sleepless Dreams, the Great Worm there.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it has googly eyes, you know?
Yes, can. Go.
Yeah.
Quick, before the DMCs.
As you said, everything I say is...
Look,
is
Crimson, you're not wrong. Poor Raph got no clue. I'll bully him one day into learning it. Raph will teach me how to play Warhammer properly, and I'll teach him to play Magic.
Yeah, it'll be reciprocal trade.
Reciprocal. Everything is reciprocal here. But
there's like Arena, isn't it? Like the online
Magic? That's the only way I've ever played it, because there's just no one that does it in my town. It's just I have a town of like just under 10,000 people, and it's never taken off here. We don't even have a game shop, so
yeah, that's rough then.
Like how I end up DMing online.
Yeah.
But that's yeah, my question still stands for you, Crimson. What was the decks like? What was the vibe with them? What? Let us know what was in it. 14 perception to see said eyes of googly woogly variety. Ah yes, googly woogly variety.
Ah yes, the googly woogly.
That is like the oogly boogly the party fought last game with Nublex just gets fucking memed on. I love that. I love that, man.
Yeah, look, there's just a race of dream dragons that exist now, which is googly eyes. It's canon. There's googly eye dragons in the world.
It's Cookie's nightmare monster. My child.
Yes,
your child. Your child.
The child. The oogly boogly.
I love that you all have the idea to send Zelly with Aster, who is barely capable of taking care of herself.
I want to keep Aster with the party. I don't want to get rid of Aster. I want to keep Aster with us going to... like, she's still incredibly useful. Yeah, she's a bit tired at the moment, but we have days to travel. She can just sleep. Like...
got him 2 decks from Dominaria United. One has a strong 5-color matter them, and then the other was all about legendaries. Ooh.
Yeah, you're right, Jen. That was Rainier, I think. In typical Rainier.
Cookie says, "Am I being adopted?" If Jen gets her way, probably. She tries to adopt everything.
Yes.
Yeah. It was not agreed. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what your... we're really off topic, by the way. For everyone who's watching, we're meant to be world building a country in our world, but we've kind of talked about that, and now we're just memeing with chat.
Off topic is the name of
Off topic is the name of the game. It should
be. Yeah.
Look, people don't watch us for consistent and cohesive ideas. They watch us to get distracted. Look, if we got... Us getting through a solid world building topic in one stream would be like Evan finishing a piece in one stream. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's just constant distraction after distraction.
We try, okay? We try. There are some streams that we've done better than others, and some streams where we've barely made it out of the initial thing of, oh, this week we're talking about, and then we just get distracted for the whole stream.
Yeah, look. Well, one week we talked about Cyberpunk Edgerunners for like the first hour of the stream. Just that was it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Clipping that. Thank you for.
Thank you.
Don't shove it. Bet. We're still on the terms. You can't see me shit talking. Not denied to the ground. It's a deep fake. It's a deep fake.
Crimson.
Crimson deep faked it.
Trying to slander us.
It's slander. If it was in print, it would be libel.
Yeah. I feel like I do this by accident every time I join. Look.
We talking Dream Realm stuff, I'm sure. We're definitely not, but now we are. You asked if you were being adopted, and I was just being silly, lol. Look, I think that's I think it's because you said mommy, Jen. I think that there's a certain context
Jen,
that's needed.
Like, it was never answered, okay? That's what I'm saying about your question there. It was never answered.
people watch us at the worst times when we're just
people it just coming at the moment to be like, what, mummy, what?
mommy, sorry.
Sorry, mummy, we're sorry. There's still hope. Exactly.
Oh
Just like
no!
Gary has this.
The call out clip.
Oh no! Oh no!
Look,
Evan,
look,
we're
it's
fans,
fact.
okay?
It's
We're
fact.
fans.
Like I think,
Look, Evan, we're
we suffer
fans,
from the
please.
exact same thing. Like it's just, let's call it what it is. Let's call a shovel. We both get distracted.
Shovel a spade.
Let's call a shovel a spade. There's a. I have many times stopped into Evan, seeing him on the same art piece.
Yeah.
You're definitely
No.
look. Look, no snitches. I just said it. You can't stand it. I just said no snitches.
Yeah. Done. That's just a rule. If you say no snitches, you legally can't snitch.
Legally speaking,
Are you saying we're all tools? Look,
you said it. You said it, Jen.
you said it exactly. You said it. You took the words out of my mouth. I didn't have to say it.
Look, if you get his reaction, Crimson, you gotta clip it and send it back. Put it in our Discord. You gotta do it. I am part of Evan's Discord. So I'm gonna quickly just check to make sure I haven't been outed in a freaking. Best make sure I wasn't. Which channel did you put it in?
I just read what sort of cookie put in there. Sorry.
Jen, Mom, sorry, Jen. Mommy, sorry, Jen.
Mom, sorry.
Look, I don't see anything in the You didn't put it in the Discord, did you? You didn't out me live in Discord.
No. It's just direct to Evan. Like,
oh my god, you did.
I'm
just gonna get if you direct that to Evan, I'm just gonna get it and be like, bruh. Called out. Look, I said what I said.
Look, we stand by what we said. Okay, that will not change.
God, what were we even?
We were talking about something to do with artificers and Zarsan and that. I can't remember what.
We are
technically
with
artificers.
Yeah. But yeah, we're big chilling. We're just happy to have people here, though. This is good.
Yeah, we're just happy to talk to people. Honestly, like that's.
I'm waiting for the tweet longer. Oof.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're talking about the Dragons part of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking. This is vaguely in the D&D space.
Dream Realm Buzz. Oh shit, I'm getting confused now.
I am actually thinking, talking about what you call it. Well, we're actually talking about next campaign, which is a little off topic, but not too much. Because I think a lot of next campaign we will see the influences of Zarsan and Ojik here with the evolution of Artifice in the campaign, come through, and I think that'll be very, very interesting to see how that progresses, because it's gonna see a lot of movement to. I'd almost be tempted to set the start of next campaign in Zarsan. That's probably where I want to put it.
Yeah,
to start,
I think that'd be good.
Because we're never going back to Lavoka. Just never.
Yeah. Next campaign starts in Lavoka. Which I still just love the idea that in this campaign we're going to go to Rindleton. We're going to teleport to Rindleton, and then more than likely travel through Lavoka. And I am so
Jen,
excited.
you're joking, buddy. You're joking. Where's our son again? Please tell me you're joking.
Please, Jen. It's next to Brighton.
It's next to Brighton.
Wook in the Dream Realm. I'd be known as Whiskey Cloud. Yeah. I had something about.
Shouldn't be in touch.
Look, Jen is secretly in charge.
Look,
we do the streams on Wednesday.
I have to double check with the writers, but I think so.
Yeah. We're just reading the script that Jen tells us.
Exactly. We're just out here.
But yeah, which is actually an interesting point. Like the whole, or I guess like a major part of us going into Quenthos and streams and everything is to build up a sense of progression over time and history to Quenthos itself, which is like each campaign being set decades apart from one another, and the events occurring in the world that you see during one campaign to the next, having that a direct influence and have these very natural living world changes occur as part of time and historical progression. So I think that's very, very interesting to directly go onto that and start in Zarsan that we've seen it starting with a lot of these changes.
Absolutely, like we've been playing it like a lot of the look, flattery will get you everywhere. I am known to flirt with chat.
Yeah, and now chat is calling it's Queen Jane
Chat's
now.
flirting with the mods.
Yeah.
It's all a cycle.
Mum Queen Jen.
Cookie, please. It's Mommy Queen Jen.
Yeah, Mummy Queen Jen. Full titles, please. Mummy Queen Jen, first of her name.
But there's just... I'm very curious, though, because... God, if flattery worked that easily, I would be far more popular. Well, Crimson, you're mighty popular here, and you're looking mighty fine. Oh, God, I'm shameless. I am absolutely shameless.
Yeah.
God, I think we're just like... I don't know how well we can get back, because my brain is just like blaring. Talk about next campaign. Talk about next campaign. Just
hey, Des, talk about next campaign.
Well, like, what's actually curious is I thought I knew what Jen wanted to play next campaign. I thought, like, down to a T, I thought Jen would want to play Beastheart.
Pets.
David is trying to make me blush. Well, if it's working.
ADHD go burr, yeah.
ADHD go burr. Look, I'm still waiting on a diagnosis, so technically I'm good for now. What are we doing? We're just
which cheeks? Which cheeks?
Those cheeks, crimson. Look, all those cheeks. Crimson known for the cheeks. Double caked up of a Tuesday afternoon.
Talk about it,
but no, I'll talk about where my thought process is. So Jen is our resident gremlin hoarder, wants to have
adopted things,
pets and such. Like that is like down to a T. I don't think a campaign's gone by without Jen trying to adopt a baby dragon. How dare you tell the queen to shut it, McQueen? But no, I thought down to a T that that Jen was going to play a Beastheart because Makova released class that's all about owning pets. And last campaign, like in the Raid of Yosgrin, she tried to get like that small dragon that we saw. She helped she was literally an old mother who was trying to help raise the ice genasi. And in Quentin Journey we saw Galen the hippogriff and such, and we saw a lot of these moments of Jen trying to like recruit and adopt as many things as possible. And I just thought natural down to a T Jen would be playing a Beastheart. I thought like regardless class race combo, Jen's probably going to want to play like a Beastheart as one of them, like regardless of story. I think that'll probably be how she goes with it because it's inbuilt into the class. And then we were talking yesterday and Jen's like, I'm thinking about new stuff, like do we need a healer? And I'm like, wait, are you not gonna I nominate Jen to play a Draken Warden Ranger.
Ooh, I could easily see that as well.
That would also work very well.
Look, Jen,
like
same here. Honestly, with D&D ideas, I bounce between character concepts and stuff like that all the time. I get that.
It's from Fizbins. No one reads that book.
It's a really cool ranger subclass, essentially about
all devoted to dragons.
Having like a dragon pet, having a drake.
Have you seen How to Train Your Dragon? It's that.
Yeah, it's basically it's basically your yeah.
I don't know how to read. That's a mood. I think Jen, it's because it's so I'll update Crimson. I have a big Google Drive for the players that just has all my books in it, and I think Fizbins is one of the only ones not in it on Roll20 or the Google Drive. And my nerds basically they know what is in the drive, and that is it. And
I sent you an online link to it, yeah.
Thank you. It's not in the Google Drive. I think I have a PDF of it somewhere. I will get it in the Google Drive. I want to be a dragon rider, if you know what I mean. Oh, she's playing a bard. She is playing a bard.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Dragon Mom Queen Jen. Yeah, I think that's about it.
The titles just add on.
But Cookie, please. Dragon Mommy Queen Jen.
Dragon Mommy Queen Jen. Yeah.
Only if the dragon is named Crimson. It will be, but it's a blue dragon. Damn. It's just an ironic name.
Yeah. Crimson the Blue Dragon.
I feel like that's some shit I would pull. Like, just...
Oh, yeah.
That was smooth. I'm just less cool than Daenerys Targaryen.
McQueen.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
That's smooth. Look, it was smooth. It's I'm going to go shame corner now. No, there is no shame corners in this channel.
There is no shame
We
corner
just
here.
own it all.
There is no shame for being smooth.
Yeah, there is no shame for being smooth. We are all shameless here.
Yeah, which is interesting because I think you've got at least everyone in the group for next campaign nailed down to at least 1 or 2 ideas.
Yeah, I have most people like not like concepts of like what their class or race is going to be, but like their story. But I know most people's like kind of class of what they're going to play, and even some I can go as far as saying I know the race class combo, and some people I can't go as even far as saying I know what the general theme of their story is going to be. Because I am fully blessed. I'll say this. My group is amazing. Like, absolutely top tier. I love these guys. This is a round room. There is no corners. This is just a big circle. I'm sorry to inform you. This is a round room.
Is as smooth as our brains.
Exactly. See, there is no corners because we're all children and would hurt ourselves in the corners.
True. And if there was a dark corner, you could find Cade brooding there.
Yes, exactly. So it is just a dimly lit room with bad mood lighting. That is what we have here. Believe it or not, we're actually all in the same room. It's backdrops and it's just a big circle.
Look, there's a curtain there you see behind Des. Behind that,
yeah, exactly. There's nothing straight here, not even the walls.
Look, behind that curtain is the ladders leading down to the basement I'm in.
Absolutely. But yeah, that is a great one. There is nothing straight here, not even the walls. I love that.
But yeah, which is kind of things. I think the 2 most potential really class race combinations for myself as well. You've got 2 ideas.
Yeah, I have yours pretty much down to T.
One of them.
You know what I think is interesting though? I think so far our table has seen every class. I don't think we've ever we've had a cleric, we've had barbarian, we've had druid, we've had fighter, we've had rogue, we've had ranger, we've had sorcerer, warlock, wizard. We've that's all the classes. We've had all of the
classes. There is no other class. There is no other class that exists. What is an artificer? It doesn't exist. We've had all the classes.
Yeah, I know you don't have an idea for a race yet, Jen. We're only halfway through Kingslayers, about just a little over.
Yeah.
And I'm
hold on.
But that's about when I start prepping the next campaign, and I'm looking forward to being able to talk a little bit more about it. There's some bits of it that I definitely want to see a little bit of the influences of the Undaria Isles come through. But that's more just exploring the world a little bit more. I could see Jen being an Aasimar, perfectly royal, absolutely, and godlike, McQueen. Watch next campaign where Jen is literally an heir to a kingdom because Raph was at this campaign. You
gotta cycle it around.
I'm too much of a gremlin. I'm sorry. Have you guys met Kizori in Burton, or as you call it, Brighton? It's just she was like pure gremlin.
She was a gremlin, actually.
She was.
And a gremlin princess.
A gremlin princess.
Gremlin
absolutely.
princess. Gremlin queen, dragon, mummy, Jen. It just adds on to the title.
Rude. Yes, rude. Correct. Sorry, McQueen. Imagine we all just start. If I can get the entire group to hard commit to this and just say everyone refer to Jen as my queen, I know Dario would be just down to a T, ready for it.
Oh no, Dario will take. Dario will take it a step further.
Oh my god, we just need to get the way we have our Raph brain emote, which is if you're not subbed to the channel, look at this fucking cool emote. You can get our Raph brain emote. But we get a screenshot of Jen and we just put a sculpt Photoshop crown on it. And it's just like a royal portrait Jen, just Queen Jen.
I love that actually.
I just turn all of your faces into emotes for the channel. It's look, it's just making money I'm using you guys for content.
Yeah. And sometimes you may just enlarge our foreheads.
I will shrink your foreheads. What Shark says.
Shut the fuck up.
Shrink your 5 heads.
Look, factually correct, I do have 5
Not
heads.
sub to the channel, call you out. Yeah, Crimson, I can definitely call people out. There's a few people sorry.
Oh shit, I completely forgot about that, Jen.
Raph has never picked a profile picture on Discord. You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Yeah. You have a good point. I said I was going to do that,
Crimson, like I say, I anytime I see a moment to just shamelessly put in a little shill, I'll do it. Just a little shill. Just a little in there.
My suggestion was really good. Look, your suggestion was certainly something.
Certainly something.
I still like
really
the
good.
out. But
look, that is the family-friendly option. Yeah,
that is the family-friendly option. That is the not banned on Twitch.
look, you just need to combine your suggestion and Jen's. Just combine them together.
I get the screenshot
in a really scuffed edit of the two.
Like Crimson says, shilling is Crimson approved. I'm glad it's Crimson approved because there's a little bit at the end of every stream and it's going to come up soon where I just shamelessly shill. I have to do it because these box lights do not run themselves. Look, people stop subbing to the channel, they go out and the lighting gets really bad. And it happens, like, gotta do it. But oh my god, how did this last half hour just become us memeing with chat and me like dancing around next campaign? The ideas. I would like to see next campaign though. I would like to see a bit more planar. There, you know what, Crimson? That would be a really smart idea if I had a Patreon command because it would it's in the channel, but it's I don't have a command for it. I'm meaning to set one up. If you are curious, there is a couple tiers on it. I will just do a shameless little shield right now. There's 3 tiers. You get access to battle maps in one of them. You do get access to my behind the scenes list if you want to see how I run the game. It's $15 a month. People want to pay to see what makes my mind work. I don't mind. Or you can get access to our world anvil where all this does go up. You just got hit with ads.
I'll just keep it ads. Thank you, brave soldier.
You got hit with ads. I'll reply in chat. All the better meme to sub for Lamau.
For all of you subscribers currently who are not viewing the ads, thank you.
Yeah, like that is
However, to each of you that, well, actually, you know what? They're still probably seeing ads.
They're definitely still seeing ads. Imagine, yeah, ad in progress. But that being said, it's like we've got a lot of I would like to see our next campaign be a bit more planar travel-y. I think that would be pretty cool. Because this campaign, last campaign, like we know of our realms and we know a lot about them, but we've not really in either campaign. Like we did a little bit with the Corinthian Journey where we saw a little bit of influence of the Feywild, but I would like to see people and our group really have to like traverse the realms like to gather stuff. I can see it on the manager page. It's Raph cannot though, unless he's in the.
I'm not currently in that. I sub and I paid. I don't know. I said the Queen there for not subbing. Look. God,
Jen is the shield from the stream. She's constantly asking people to pay. She is our shield.
Yeah. And you know us, all about that subbing.
Yeah. We are subs.
For the Queen.
Wait, hold up. But what was I saying? Yeah, like next campaign I would like to see us do a little bit more planar travel. So obviously there'll be a later campaign thing because I don't know, like we're getting closer and closer to high level. We're currently at 12th, but I also just love low level D&D play. Like tier 1 to tier 2 play is like my sweet spot, what I love the most, I think.
Yeah.
Because like combats get a lot messier when you get higher level, when enemies need higher level spells and such. It's it's a lot of like stuff to keep track of and such. So it's there's a lot that can be done in terms of working towards lower level play, and I enjoy low level play, and I enjoy the idea of doing something a little bit more planar related. And I'm definitely keen to explore like a planerscape kind of more vibe where like you're gonna have to go to the land of sleepless dreams, but also I want to explore different means of planar travel. So like these astral projection styles, or like the dreams for the like literally just going to sleep and being channeled by a dream sorcerer to visit the land of sleepless dreams. These different aspects of moving through planes and like how you approach and move through them. I think that'd be curious to see. Like we've got like the archways in the wood that lead to the Feywild, and like traversing through the Feywild. Like I don't want to just plane shift and like teleport different places. I want to find like portals and dimensions to get through. I think that'd be a really interesting way of approaching it. I just think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. Jen just says, I think it's the highest level full campaign I've ever played.
Same.
Hey, that's fucking cool.
Corinthian Journey ended at 11, didn't it? No, 9.
And
I
Council
think
Events ended at 11.
I think it was 14th level is the highest I've ever been in an actual campaign. And not just like a one-shot type of thing. Just
we did into a series which was 4 parts that had.
What level were we for that?
We're 15th.
15th, yeah, that's what I thought.
It was 15th. But it's, I would love to see different means of exploring the planes, like going through these archways in the world and trying to traverse to make our way, make our way through it. And it's an interesting approach to finding out how we can get through the planes at like a lower level, like because like travel, like we're especially starting to see it in campaign now with like the means of like getting a teleportation circle in Kern and Burton and such, that you can like get like quicker travel, which is like part of what I love so much about lower levels is like, when you got your horse and carriage and like getting this deck carriage and like making travel a little bit more interesting at the start, because at higher levels it just becomes something that is not really as like as
it becomes too easy to breeze through a lot of the cool little details that can be quite fun to explore in a D&D game.
Like the Golden Gull, like you guys could have, if you just had a teleportation, you wouldn't have never sailed through that with Anatari, never had like the encounter with the petals, we would have like different aspects to it. And I like these low level travel scenes because they introduce so much like character growth, and like we saw a little bit in a campaign we did pre-stream where there was like quick travel available readily even from low level with like lightning rail and airships and stuff. And I feel like some of the character bonding that happens on travel during low levels was lost. Jen, also I got your message, and that the race does not surprise me. I'm not going to talk about the race because that is super secret project right now. But that doesn't surprise me because I know that race interests you a lot. But like that being said, there's a lot that can be explored, and I love that this is just, what I'm looking forward to, Raph? When it gets to the moment of like world building streams, when we're close enough to the next campaign that I can literally just like, we can do a world building stream, like do a world building stream about the next campaign.
But that would be fun. There's a lot of stuff we could cover for that.
That being said, I think it is still time. We're kind of getting to the time slot. So let's wind down and let's do a little bit of a shameless shill moment, because I believe there's no ads running on the channel right now, so this is the best time to do it. And then we can raid Evan because they are starting soon. So this is the last little bit of the stream where I kind of just shamelessly shill for myself and for the stream to try and keep these lights on. If you liked what you saw, please consider following the channel. It means a lot to us. It really helps us out, and it's really great to just see regular faces come through. A Nation of Artificers sounds like the most chaotic, terrified place. You can turn one corner and wham, magic hammer, I smacked you in the face. That'll be next campaign, hopefully. That'll be next campaign. But if you liked what you saw a little bit further than following, you can subscribe to the channel or the Patreon. If subscribing to either at the tier 1 standard will get you access to the World Anvil, where all this stuff goes up, and we kind of, a lot of the stuff we covered today is already on the World Anvil. We're just kind of doing more of a little show and tell style today, because we have a lot about Ojikir and like the kind of general vibe around it. That's the wrong Ojikir. Let's go Ojikir again. Here, like you can see a lot. Let's shrink this a little bit because but yeah, thank you for distracting, Crimson.
No, thank you for being here.
Like a lot of stuff goes up on the thing. And if you like what I saw for that, for our weekly game, we are live every Monday. Although next week I'll be away for my wedding anniversary, because I'm married for 3 years now, which is super, super cool. Married to the love of my life.
Hey.
But if you like what you saw, you can go onto the Patreon as well to support us. It is arguably the best way to support us. It's the easiest, best for us. And there's 3 tiers on that. There's a $5 a month, which gives you access to our World Anvil and any homebrew content we put out. There's already 2 subclasses up there, and there will hopefully big announcement in November for our homebrew content. So just please, everyone, come back first stream of November. And other than that, there's a $10 tier, which gives you access to our battle maps and everything of the previous tier.
and they get uploaded every week because we do a lot of them. And then there is a $15 tier, which gives you the behind the screens notes of how I run my sessions and how they kind of get built and approached. But other than that, it's been so nice having you all here. Thank you for everyone in chat. We've really had a good time. November is going to be spicy, and yes, all hail Queen Jen. Long may she reign.
All hail Queen Jen. But yeah,
right. We're going to raid Evan because he's just starting. It's a great time to catch him.
Yes.
We'll see you there. Yeah, Crimson, please hang out with us more. We would love to have you. I know you from vibing in Evan's chat with you, where we're literally going now. Yes, Cookie, spicy November. I will say this.
Yes.
Our next stream, this is the last stream before the wedding anniversary. Our next stream we're going live is Monday at 12 p.m. on GMT, 7th of November. And then we'll be back on the 9th of November as well for a world building stream. We have big announcements in November. So please stop by in November. It's first week of November. And all of November we'll be talking about it. But we've got big plans for the end of the year. We're going to go ahead and raid out because we're just going to keep... We'll meet with chat all night, but we got to go. People have lives and it's late for Raf. But we will see you after... what kind of spicy are we talking here? We're talking... So before we end... Lore. Juicy. Thick. Crimson.
Yeah.
I'm not it's an announcement of an announcement. I will say this. We've already put out 2 subclasses. So, we're working on a lot. But yes, it will be Queen Jen's large, juicy, thick announcement.
Yeah.
That
will be the highlight to it. That will just be like the name for it, the announcement name.
Well, yeah, join the Discord, join the socials. They'll all be there as well. We're going to raid out. Bye.